breathing's like a little off, like, and I counted his respirations and I was like, whoa, his respirations are lower than they should be. And that's when it started to really scare me. I went to count it one more time. And as I was counting, they stopped. That's when I got so scared. And I was like, I just started like hitting him. I was like, just please. And I was yelling. And I was like, no, this can't be happening. Like, no, he was just talking to me on the phone. Like, and so I was calling 911 and they were walking me through how to do CPR. And like, I kind of know how to do CPR because I'm a nurse and everything. And but the first thing they said, is he on a bed? And I said, yeah. And they said, you're going to have to pull him off because CPR is not effective on a soft surface. And I tried so hard and I couldn't pull him off the bed. And so I felt like I was like I couldn't do it. Like I failed. I couldn't do it.
Hey everybody, it's me, Shay. Welcome back to Grief Witnessed, where we remember, where we tell the stories, and where grief is allowed to exist without fixing it. Today, I am here with one of my really good friends, my really good widow friend,
so many really
Tam. This is Tamara, everybody. I am back in the 801 here in Utah. Woo. We're going to get together as widows tomorrow night.
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow is actually Tanner's angelversary. For anyone that doesn't know what an angelversary is, it's the death anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
But angelversary sounds way better.
It does sound a little better. I haven't actually ever used that word, but I like it. I should use it.
It makes me feel better when
I know. I say death-aversary.
Death-aversary.
I'm a little darker.
You're a little dark.
A little on the darker side. We know.
So tomorrow the widows are going to get together and hang. But today we get to hear about Tamara's story of becoming a widow at what age?
29.
29. That's how old I was when I became a widow.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yep. I was 29. I'm 30 now.
Cute for us.
So cute for us. Death to our 20s. Now that we're in our 30s.
Going out with a bang.
Yeah. So, okay. Your husband is Grant.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about Grant. Tell us how you guys met. Tell us about your love story.
Okay. I love this. So when we actually first met, it was my sophomore year of college and he was my Sunday school teacher.
Okay. For people that aren't Mormon, tell us.
I mean, we just at church, there's a portion where they just teach about, the scriptures, the Bible, stories, whatever.
Yeah.
And he was the teacher.
Okay.
And he was so unique and so funny. And like, I've never seen a Sunday school teacher like him. Like, it was wild. I remember me and my friend both just looking at each other like, oh my gosh, is this guy real? Like,
is he allowed to say these
first?
things?
Yeah. Like that. And also like, it was one of those like so dry and sarcastic that it was like, wait, is he being serious? Is he? And then we realized he wasn't. We're like, he is hilarious. Like, what? And so it started to get to where, because there were multiple options for Sunday school classes, and it started to get to where everyone wanted to go to his class, to where there were people sitting on the floors. Like there wasn't enough room, to where the someone from the Sunday school presidency would have to come in and like ask people to go to the other people's classes.
Wow, I would hate to have been one of the other teachers.
No, exactly. And I remember like thinking that, like, you feel bad. You're like, oh man, I feel bad for those other teachers. Like, that's sad. And then, but you're also like, well, it's not going to be me that's going to switch classes.
Yeah.
Like, I'm staying here. But there wasn't anything like, oh, I'm so attracted to him, or, oh, I have a crush on him. It was just like, I specifically remember me and my best friend, Katie, we were both like, we love this person. Like, as a person, we just are obsessed with him in a way. Like, he's so funny and like just this unique personality. And I was dating someone at the time. There wasn't even a thought. It wasn't like, I'm not attracted to him or I am attracted. It was just like, I love this person and I'm dating this other person. And then I remember he started dating someone, and I remember me and my friend being so excited for him. Like, we were like, oh my gosh, he's dating this other girl. And we looked at her like Facebook and we're like, she's so cute.
Like she came to church or something?
I don't even remember how, maybe it was like Facebook official and we saw it or something like that. But I just remember us being like, we're so happy for him because he's the best. We love him and she's so cute. Like, this is amazing. We just wanted everything good for him because we loved him so much in this weird way.
Yeah.
And that was that. And then, you know, we moved out of this because we lived at this place called Liberty Square. We moved out, whatever. Liberty Square. Yeah. And then it wasn't until 2 years later. So 2 years after this, my friend moves into town and she's like, I want someone to set me up on a date with someone. I want to go out, like whatever. And so I, for some reason, thought of Grant to set her up with. Cause I was like, they kind of have a similar like hipster style.
Okay.
And I was like, and he's really funny. She's really funny. Like they would have so much fun. Like, I don't even know why he came to my mind randomly. And then I messaged him and I was like, hey, would you want to go out with my friend that just moved in or whatever? And he was like, yeah, I totally do like a group hangout thing or whatever. And so he gave me his number or something. And I can't remember something happened of like where I texted him and he didn't end up coming.
Oh, and then dished out on your friend?
Well, there was no date thing. It was just like this group hangout and people. And so I was like, come to the group hangout. Because that's what he wanted. He didn't want like a date thing.
Not a setup, and just like
he didn't say he would come. I just told him about it and was like, you should come and then whatever. And he messaged and said something like, hey, like we need to hang out or something. And I messaged back and I was like, yeah, I've been trying. Like I asked you last time. And he was like, he messaged back and said, well, you've been trying to set me up with your friend and I just want to be set up with you.
Oh.
And I was like, okay.
Were you single at the time?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was single at the time. And it was like, I hadn't even really thought about it. And I was just like, well, that was kind of bold and I appreciate the bold. And I was like, okay, like, let's do it. And so, but I wasn't, you know, any type of way. I was just like, this will be interesting, you know? And so I give him my number. And the first time I think I really was like, all right, like this could be, I think I'm interested, was he left a voicemail. He called me and left a voicemail while I was at church or something. I go to listen to it and it starts out with him saying, hey, Mom. And then for like the splittest second, I thought he accidentally called me thinking he's talking to his mom. I was like, this is jackpot. And then he kept going and he goes, and for our religion, sometimes we fast on like first Sunday of the month.
Yeah.
We, you know,
it's like Lent. Lent where you give something
I don't know, but whatever. We don't eat usually, like everyone does it differently, but we don't eat for like first 2 meals and then we eat dinner or whatever, however you do it. But so his voicemail, that's just background. His voicemail, he goes, hi, Mom. I was just calling to remind you because it's fast Sunday today. So, and you know, the cat's been fasting. So I was just reminding you that he needs double portions for dinner tonight since he's been fasting. And he's like, okay, bye, Mom. And like, that was it.
What the heck?
That was it. No, even like, and this is his weird sense of humor. Like, no, even like, you know, he's doing it. And then he goes like, haha, just kidding. Like, this is Grant. Like, you want to go out or whatever. No, that was it. Like, and he just left that how it was. I wish I had it recorded so bad because I don't remember the exact way he did it. But I remember coming out of my room, listening to that voicemail and being like, showing all my roommates, like, guys, you have to listen to this. I was like, I think I like this guy. And that shows you how weird I am because I was like, this is what did it for me.
Well, you have like I don't know Grant, but the humor that you describe of his feels very similar to yours.
Yeah. Like very unique sense of humor. Like, oh, he's the funniest person that so many people say he's the funniest person that they've ever met in real life. Like he is just hilarious in such a unique, bizarre, shocking way that like he says things that are just like, what? And how do you keep shocking me over and over when I've known you for so long? But it's like that voicemail. I was like, okay, I'm interested. And then we went out on our first date was to an ASL movie. I was taking ASL classes at BYU. Okay. And so I had to attend one. And So we went to, and the first thing he says when he walks in, and I'm like sitting on the edge, and he just goes, he like looks at the screen and he's like, speaking of deaf, I'm deaf in my right ear. So could we switch spots? Cause I was on the end, and he really is deaf in his right ear. I didn't know, but, and so we switched spots, and he's just like commentating on the movie the whole time, kind of loudly, and like no awareness that everyone's so quiet because it's an ASL movie. And I was just loving it, loving every second of it. And then after that date, like we just talked and talked and laughed and talked and laughed for hours and hours and hours until the wee hours of the morning. And it was like, after that date, I was toast. Like it was, you were in love. I was like, oh my gosh, like, yeah, I've never felt anything like this. Like, and then it was almost like, in a way, ever since then, until he died, it was like us talking and talking and talking and just loving talking to each other and just being in each other's company. Like, I feel like we uniquely, there were, you know, some things that we argued a lot. We were both stubborn, like hard-headed, but like we loved each other's company more than anything. We always wanted to hang out with each other. We're like, no one is cooler than each other.
Yeah, that's great. I love that so much. And he was a musician.
He was a musician, totally. He's so freaking talented. Like he did a song for like a Mountain Dew commercial. Oh, wow. He did a song for a Kenneth Cole commercial. Like and I still get random, like, it's very small now, but random royalties from those like things. Gosh. It's so funny. That's when I just see it pop in my account. It's just like this really small amount, but I'm just like, oh, it's like kind of cute. Yeah. And he does have his albums on like, you know, Spotify, the usual stuff, but I can't even listen to it now. Like I'm still, it's hard. Like music is one of the hard things in general for me to listen to that like takes me back to that space. But his music even more, it's like this eerie feeling for me of like, I'm hearing his voice and he's almost like he's talking, he's singing, like, but he's not here. And it's still like my brain can't compute, and it makes me feel so sick and dark. And so I'm hoping and I believe that someday I'll get to a place where I can appreciate his music, because he's so talented and I love his music. But like right now, I can't.
Well, I mean, at Christmas time, when we all got together and did our little PowerPoint, not really PowerPoint, but we shared pictures, you were able to share his music.
I did share his music. I was crying, but like I shared it, and I will always like, that's what I want more than anything is like people to listen to his music, because like that's what he loved so much.
What's his name on Spotify?
So his musician name is Kevat. It's it means spring in Finnish, because he's his grandma's from Finland.
Okay.
But it's Kevat, Kevat, and he has one of the last songs that he wrote was it's called Meant for Nothing, and the chorus says like, these years weren't meant for nothing, because these years I've loved you so. And it was some of his songs, like his brother will even say like, it almost is like in some weird way he knew, but he didn't know. It's like almost some of his writing is like almost a prophecy, like these weird things like, did you know? Like what?
Yeah.
But like, that's what part of what's, is it inscribed? Is that the word? That's part of what's inscribed on his headstone is, these years weren't meant for nothing.
I love that.
I know.
So go listen to him on Spotify.
Yes.
Yeah. Kevat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So tell me about, how long had you guys been married when Grant died?
We were married, I think about 5.5 years.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I think it's like equal now. It's like we were married for 5.5 years and he's been dead for 5.5 years.
Wow.
So I think I'm at that weird like mirror point.
Yeah. Tanner and I were married for 7 years. So when we get to 14 years, that will be my mirror point with him.
Okay. That makes sense. So yeah, it's like 11 years for me and 14 years for you. Okay.
Yeah. Tell me about what happened.
What happened?
I know that's such a big question. Man, like, I know what happened, but
I will say there are different ways that I tell it. I feel like there's a way that I almost describe it like I'm reading a book kind of. And then there's a way where like my mind goes back there and I'm talking about it and I'm like in it and we'll see what happens this time.
Okay.
But like, okay. So first I think I have to explain some backstory with what was going on with Grant. Like he had struggled with mental health in the past and he was first diagnosed with depression. Then they diagnosed it as bipolar disorder. And he would always call himself a bipolar bear.
Bipolar bear.
And
was he 1 or 2?
So that there's some confusion there because it was diagnosed as 2, it was diagnosed as 1. And basically the only times he went into, because bipolar 2, you only go to hypomanic.
Yeah.
Whereas bipolar 1, you go to a full out mania. The only times he ever went to a full out mania were like from medication, like when he took Prozac, or like substance induced.
Okay.
And so, you know, up to be determined of like, what does that mean? Some physicians or NPs would disagree. But he's in that spectrum of bipolar. Okay. So his impulsivity with the, you know, hypomanic, whatever. And even, it's so hard to really tease out what was related to what, but he had impulsivity with substances, especially medications. Mm-hmm. So it's hard to explain because yes, he died of an overdose, an accidental overdose, but in a lot of these situations, you hear like, oh, they were, you know, a heroin user,
an addict.
And they were an addict, a heroin user every day, you know, kind of thing. And then overdid it, you know, kind of thing. Or there's so many, but his is a weirdly unique situation that I think is hard for people to understand. But he basically, when there were medications that he knew were in this is how he kind of described it to me. It's like when there were medications that he knew were in the room or he saw them or there was like availability, it was like something took over in his brain and it felt like I need to take that to survive. Yeah. Like this weird survival thing took over and he was just like, I need to. And then he would.
That is they were like mania.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's hard to totally ascribe certain things to certain, but we know that there was impulsivity associated with medications and there was an extreme like urge that would overtake him to where he didn't want to do it, but he would like say there were multiple times where he would take someone's medication, he would get to it, he would take it, and then immediately he would always feel so bad afterwards, feel so guilty and so shameful afterwards, which makes me so sad that he felt so much shame about it. And he would like, we got to a point where he would always, anytime he would do it, he would come to me and like just tell me like, I'm so sorry I did this and I feel so bad and I don't know why I do it. Like, I don't want to be this person. I don't want to do that, you know? And like, there was one time he like took his aunt's pills and then he went to his aunt and he was like, I'm so sorry I took your pills. And it was just,
I mean, I don't want to get therapy, but it sounds like OCD. Is that usually paired with bipolar?
Sometimes it is, but in this case, I don't think he had OCD. Okay. Like, but there was a compulsive nature to it.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's what was weird. So it wasn't like he was an addict that was he was never like addicted to a certain substance that he was physiologically dependent on or anything like that. It was this impulsivity when there was something that he could get access to, it would take over. And he didn't want it to take over. And it was this very shameful part of him that he always trying to work on. And so on this particular day, he was working up in Salt Lake and he was going to be working I think it was like a long 16-hour day or something one day. And then the next day, something like that. And so he got a hotel overnight and he was like, come stay at the hotel with me and it'll be just fun, random, whatever. Yeah. And I was like, okay, because I wasn't working on the weekends. And so I was hanging out with my girlfriends that night and then I was going to go up to the hotel. He had texted me and he was like, I took someone's medication at work and I'm so sorry and I feel so bad. And he was like, he said, please tell me you can forgive me. He was like, I feel so embarrassed and I feel so weak. He just would say, I feel so weak. Like he didn't feel capable when he felt like I should feel capable of stopping and not doing it. And he was at this job. He wasn't supposed to be passing meds, but someone asked him to that day, even though he didn't want to be passing meds. He knew, that's not a good place for me to be. Someone asked him to pass meds, and the meds weren't properly stored or locked and all of this business going on. But he called me. And he was like, after he texted that, he called and he was like, Tamara, I'm so sorry. He's like, I feel so bad. I feel so bad for you and everything. And I was just like, it's okay. Like whenever.
Did he know what it was when he took it?
Yeah, he did.
Okay. Did you know what it was?
Yes.
Okay.
I knew what it was. I didn't know the extent of how dangerous it was. I hadn't ever worked with it.
Oh yeah.
Before, but
were you a nurse at that point yet?
Yeah.
You were, okay.
Yeah. So it was methadone.
Yeah.
He was working at a homeless shelter.
Yeah.
It was methadone, and he didn't know how dangerous it was. I knew it was dangerous as in it was an opiate, and opiates are dangerous.
That's what they give to people that are coming off of.
Exactly. But I didn't know after I researched it afterwards, it's like the amount, compared to like, it's extremely dangerous. And there's so many overdoses by methadone every year. If I would have known all that, I would have taken different action.
Yeah.
But, and it's methadone is in like a syrup too. And so I know because of that, Grant thought it was more, less intense. Cause he's actually, it's weird. It doesn't make sense, but he's kind of a risk averse person.
Yeah.
And like, he would never do any hard drugs. Like he had been offered things. He was way too scared. He's like, I would never try heroin or cocaine or meth or anything. He's like, I would never, ever. I'm way too scared to do anything like that, But then it's like, oh, this one ended up being a lot more dangerous, which is just a bummer that he didn't even know, and it's just, and it looks like cough syrup kind of thing. So much is blurry with it, but I think he told me it was methadone, or he told me later, but he just told me he took a medication, and I was like, it's okay. And the way he was talking to me, he was with it and everything. Like there was I was like, okay, like, we'll figure it out. Like, thank you for being honest with me. Like, that's all I ask of you, is to just tell me when these things happen.
Yeah, totally.
And he's always trying to be better. And I was like, and also for background, his mental health was pretty good at this point. Like he was not, for most of the years up until he died, he did not have any depression at all. Like he was pretty stable, like, which I'm so thankful for, that he was able to be happy for the last years of his life, because he did suffer with depression for quite a while. Then I was on my way to the hotel, and I'm really close with his mom. And so I told his mom, I was like, hey, he took this medication. And he told me about it. And I was like, I'm just filling you in. Like, it sounds like he's doing fine, like whatever. And I was like, but I'll keep you posted. And then his friend that was his coworker was there with him and was like, hey, he's asleep. Like, I don't know. Can you come like check? And I was like, yeah, I'm on my way. And when I got there, he was asleep. And I was just thinking like, he'll sleep it off. Like, if you take something like that, a lot of the meds that you take, a lot of abusable meds cause a lot of fatigue. And a lot of times you have to sleep it off. Yeah. And I was like, okay, he's asleep. And I was like, I was kind of looking at his like nail beds, and I'm like, is he looking a little pale? Am I in my head? And so I just told, his friend that was there to go get Narcan just in case. Yeah. Which like, I can't describe how frustrating that process was, when it should be. I'm a huge advocate for Narcan available everywhere. And like, we were at a hotel, there should have been Narcan. There should be Narcan in hotels. Like there should be Narcan everywhere. Yeah. And the sad thing is I have Narcan in like my medical supplies at home. If we were at home, could have saved him right away. So he went to go get Narcan. The pharmacy said like they couldn't dispense it without a prescription or something. And then so I was like, okay, I looked it up and they have some at the library or whatever. So I was like, go to the library. And then he called me. He was like, it's $99. I can't afford that. And I was like, I'm Venmoing it to you right now. I Venmo'd him. And I was like, I just want to have it in case, you know? And then, so I'm like Venmoing doing that. And I'm just like thinking Grant's like sleeping and stuff. And he is, I can hear him breathe the whole time. Like he's kind of a snorer. And so I was just like sitting on his bed, and then his breathing is getting a little like, it's hard because he has sleep apnea. So his breathing is always weird. Like it's always kind of like gasping for air, like all these weird sounds in the middle of the night that drove me crazy. You know, like generally it wasn't terrifying. Like generally it was just annoying, and I would like throw pillows at him in the middle of the night, and then like he'd wake up and be like, what the heck? And then I'd pretend to be asleep, and I'd be like, it wasn't me. But this time he was like breathing weird, and I was just like, oh yeah, Grant breathes weird. Like, okay. But then I was like trying to pay more attention to it. And then I was like started counting his respirations, and because I was a nurse, and I just finished NP school. I just finished NP school. Okay. Yeah. And I also had texted somehow some part during this time. I texted his mom, and I was like, hey, his breathing's like a little off. Like, and I counted his respirations, and I was like, whoa, his respirations are lower than they should be. And that's when it started to really scare me. And so I texted her, I said, his respirations are, and I can't remember what it was, but, and she said like, and so I think I said, his respirations are this low, I'm calling 911. And so I went to count it one more time. And as I was counting, they stopped. That's when I just got so scared. And I was like, I just started like hitting him. I was like, just please. And I was yelling, and I was like, no, this can't be happening. Like, no, he was just talking to me on the phone. Like, and so I was calling 911, and they were walking me through how to do CPR. And like, I kind of know how to do CPR because I'm a nurse and everything. And but the first thing they said, is he on a bed? And I said, yeah. And they said, you're going to have to pull him off because CPR is not effective on a soft surface. And I tried so hard, and I couldn't pull him off the bed. And so I felt like I was like, I couldn't do it. Like I failed. I couldn't do it. And so he was like, get on the bed and just do the CPR as hard as you can. And he was like counting with me, the guy, and he had me count out loud. And so sometimes like, the like flashbacks I get when on TV, you know, when they're doing it, like counting and everything. And sometimes I think about hearing that call of me on the phone, and I'm like, I never want to hear that. Like just the worst moment of my entire life. Like, and I did CPR, and I was trying with every muscle in my body. Like I was trying so hard. Like I was trying to stare. There was vomit in his mouth. Yeah. I was trying to scrape the vomit out, and I was trying so hard. And I'm not very strong.
Well, you're really little.
I know, compared, he was a big guy, and they arrived. I was doing CPR for 13 minutes.
They took a long time to get there.
They took a long time, especially for a city. Like,
downtown city.
Yeah. So I was doing CPR for 13 minutes, which doesn't sound like a long time, but when you're putting all of your effort into it, it's just, I had nothing. And I just wanted them to get there so bad. I kept asking when I was counting. I was like, when are they? How far are they? How far are they? When are they coming? And then I heard them outside the door. And right when I heard them outside the door, because I'm like, I need them to get to him and take over and do everything the right way. I need it. And so right when I heard the door, I just got up and sprinted over to the door and like fell on my way to the door and like scraped my knee and just grabbed the door. And I was like, hurry, he's right there, hurry. And so they went over, and that time after that, I called his mom, and I was on the phone with his mom while they were hooking him up and everything. And because they can hook him up to like the AED, you know, and they were shocking him. And I was just like, okay, they've got him now. Like he's going to live. Like every movie you ever see, like it always works.
Yeah, restarts.
Like it always works. And so I'm like, okay, they've got the AED. He's coming back. Like they've got this. And then they kept trying and they kept trying. And I was like, okay, they're going to get it. They're going to get it.
Did they have Narcan?
That's what I haven't totally figured out. Like, I don't know if it was because I told them exactly what happened. Like while they were doing it, I was also, there were the EMTs working on him. There was the EMT asking me questions and I was like, it's an opiate overdose. Like, but I know EMTs know Narcan. Like that's probably the number one thing they do in their job. And so I'm like, but then my brain was obviously not working at that time. But then afterwards, I'm like, wait, why didn't they give him Narcan? But then I'm like, was it too late past the time? I still don't freaking know. Yeah. But I was just thinking, okay, he's going to come back. I was on the phone with his mom and then they just stopped and they just looked at me and they said I can't remember how they worded it, but it wasn't clear. It was just like, something like, it's not going to work or it's not working or something. And they said, we're going to have to stop. And I said, he died. I remember right when I said that, I heard my mother-in-law scream. Just like, I remember that scream. And I remember I just kind of fell to the ground and just laying on that hotel, laying on the hotel floor and just feeling like nothing, feeling like everything around me, everything ahead of me, everything was just black and dark. And I didn't want to be there. I didn't want to be alive. I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to move. There was nothing that could make anything better. There was nothing. It just felt like nothing. And I just laid there and cried. And I said, can I go be with him? Can I just go sit with him, please? And they said, no. They said, no, you can't be in here anymore. We're closing it off. It's like, we have to investigate. And so they closed the door and they said, you can't go back in there. I called my mom and I told her, I said, she knew immediately by my voice that I just said, Mom, Grant died. And she was just like, okay. She was like, I'm buying a plane ticket right now. I'm on my way. And she was like, I can't even remember, but I remember the friend of him that was his coworker was there. And I was like, just drive me to the Bronx, like his family, just drive me there. Like I need to be with them. So he was driving me and I was just sitting in the passenger seat and I was in shock, complete shock. And then I get a call from the police and they said, and like, I don't want to like be so negative about the police or anything because I know they're trying to do their best and trying to do their job, but it just was not it. Was not what was
not
needed.
the time, bro. Like, oh my gosh.
Like he called and he said, you need to come back right now. Like, as in like talking to me in like a disciplinary way.
Yeah.
And I was like, what are you talking about? And he was like, the way you left was so suspicious. Don't you realize that? Do you realize what you did? And I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
He was like, you were lying on the floor and then you just got up and left quickly. And I was like, you told me I couldn't see him anymore. You told me it was locked off. So I was,
why would I want to
go
stay
be
there?
with family? Am I going to sit there with I can't ever see him or touch him again, but I'm just going to sit in that environment where it happened? Like, so I just was like, what? And then I got off the phone and I called my mom right after. And I was like, Mom, they're telling me I have to go back and be questioned. And like, I have to go back. I don't know if they said I have to go back. I think they said I have to go to the station to be questioned. And I told my mom that. And my mom immediately was just like, no way. She was like, don't you dare turn around. She was like, you drive straight to the Bronx. You go be with the Bronx right now. She said, I will call the sheriff's office and take care of it. Moms are
the best.
She was like, you don't even worry about it. She's like, if they absolutely need to, I will tell them you go to her while she's with her family.
Yeah.
But she is not coming to you right now.
Yeah.
And she did. She called them, took care of it.
Good job.
They never even questioned me. They're probably scared of her. She is
Moms are the
mama
best.
bear.
Yeah.
No, everyone in my life was the best. It was the worst situation in the world, but like the sweetest. Everyone, there's so much like that I couldn't even feel at the time, but it's like everyone that came and did so much for me, people that I didn't even know. It was like, there's so much beauty in this horrifically the darkest thing ever.
Yeah.
Like,
it's a weird, I don't know if dichotomy is the right word, but to experience the beauty of people and the kindness and the love of people in such like great capacity, at the same time experiencing like the worst thing of your whole life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you can't even, like, for me, I couldn't even show my gratitude at all for it at the time. I was so in shock. I was so dead. I was a blob of nothing. Like, but I remember even just like everyone was moving all my stuff out of my house and moving it into a new house because I couldn't go back to that house we lived in. And I remember just being on my mom put my mattress in one of the rooms and it didn't have any sheets or anything on it yet, but she just put a mattress. She's like, because all I was doing at that point was lying down, like morning, midday, night, lie down. So she put a mattress there in a room and just laid me down on it and was like, you just stay here. Don't worry about anything. Don't worry. And I remember seeing everyone, like my cousins, like people from my ward that I didn't know at church, like everyone was just doing everything, setting things up in my house, like even unpacking my boxes and folding my clothes and like decorating the house. And like, I was just like, oh my gosh, people are amazing. And I can't even like say thank you. I can't say anything. Like, oh my gosh. But that night that had to probably be the worst night of my life, the night that he died. And I did get prescribed some heavy sleeping pills because I could not, I was like shaking to the point of like convulsing. I was constantly feeling like I was going to barf. Like my stomach was torn to shreds. Like I was just wired and I was just constant. Like at that point, the flashbacks have been ongoing, but less and less. But at that point, it was just flashback, immediate, constant, like of just like CPR, like vomit, like all just in my head. Like I should have done this. Like there's so much of the guilt of like, I'm a nurse practitioner. I should have known. I should have seen the signs. Like I'm sure medical personnel hearing my story are like, how did she not see this sign? How did she not notice this? She could have done this.
It's so different when you don't have your work hat on, right?
Right.
You don't have your work hat on and you're with your husband and something traumatic is happening. Like all of those things, I don't think it's realistic to expect someone to be in that place. Yeah, I know. And I've had to do a lot of therapy with that specifically because there's so much guilt and it still, of course, comes up. But like I do remind myself, like I did the best that I could. Yeah. But yeah, absolutely.
It's so hard because in hindsight, I'm like, of course I should have done that. Of course, how did I not notice that? It's like just so many things where it's like, even selfishly for me, I'm like, if I would have done that, he would still be here. Like, it was just the most shocking, horrifying thing and I feel like such a loss to the world at large. Like he was loved by so many, like, he made his mark on the world. That is for sure. Yeah. But then I just wanted to die afterwards. And for a long time, I really wanted to die. Like I made the decision early on, like I'm not going to kill myself. Like that wasn't an option for me. I can't bring that type of pain to other people in my family or anything like that. But I was like, it'd be nice if it just happened, you know? And so there was a time I was praying pretty hard for God to just let me die somehow. And there was also a part where my weird logic brain found out like average lifespan for a female, calculated the number of days. And I literally had this journal where I was writing down how many days I've left of life. And then I'd go a week later and I'd write down how many days it was left of my average lifespan. And because it was like that, each day was that painful for me that like, I was like, I want this life to end so bad that I'm like counting down the days, even though there's so many left. Like it looked ridiculous. It was a huge number, but I was like, this is all I can do to keep myself alive, is that at least the number's decreasing each day. And it's so sad that I was even in that place. I just remember like certain times being like, I lived with my little sister. My parents stayed with me. And I lived with my little sister and my cousin that I'm really close with, which his name is Grant, which is so confusing, but I call him Granty. But my parents were amazing, did everything for me, like just stepped in, took over, did everything. They saved me in every type of way. And Mo and Granty saved me in a completely different way, like brought joy and laughter to my life and just made me start to slowly come alive, like these moments. But I remember one time on the couch, like my mom was next to me. I have this distinct memory, and Granty was sitting on the couch over here. And I remember like rocking back and forth and wailing, just saying like, I want to die. Please let me die. Please let me die. I just want to die. And I remember like seeing my mom's face reacting to that, and like how painful that must have been for her to see me like that. And all of it is just, oh my gosh, looking back, it's like, gosh, what a nightmare. What a horrible freaking nightmare. And one of the other weird things I think about that for some reason hurts me a lot is thinking about, because I've read these books about near-death experiences. And I've read some with like written from a secular perspective, some from a religious perspective, and then kind of combine some of the similarities and stuff and what happens in a lot of the situations. And like a lot of them, people that have like kind of died and come back, describe a similar experience of kind of leaving their body and seeing the body and the people around them. And like, I say they're in the hospital having a surgery or something, seeing the doctors working on them or something. And so for some reason I'm like, I don't know at which moment Grant died. I don't know when did he actually die? But when I think about him watching me perform the CPR on him while I was just like crying and in so much distress and pain and freaking out and like just trying to like scrape the vomit out and do CPR correctly, even though I wasn't strong enough and I couldn't do it very well. And him like watching me, it hurts me so much because I know he would feel so horrible and just be in so much pain, and he would want to do anything to help me when he couldn't. And that's so hard for me to think about for some reason. Ugh. I hate crying.
Well, you're on the wrong podcast for that, my friend. I just want to hug you and I just want to cry with you. And I can't imagine what that time would have been like to have like known you at that time and just like want to just be with you and want to just do anything to like take the pain away. My flashbacks are, it's hard not to think about the drastic difference from sudden to slow loss. Because my flashbacks are like watching Tanner like wither away, like die, watching him slowly die over 5 years. Yeah. And probably the most flashbacks that I get are hospice, and that place was, I mean, it was in my basement and it was hell. And
really,
oh my gosh. A lot of people are like, hospice is so peaceful. And I'm like, no, it was not. It was not peaceful. It was hell every minute of every day for those 10 days he was on hospice.
So horrible.
And like, it's just like sudden loss and slow loss. They just feel so incomparable.
Mm-hmm.
They both
suck.
They both suck.
They suck so hard in their own ways. Like there's literally no way to be like, one is better, one is worse. It's like they both suck so hard. They're both the worst things ever.
They really are. And I wish there was a word that was worse than suck.
I know. It's not adequate.
It's not adequate.
Does not do the job.
What we've gone through.
No, even the pain is like you go through life thinking like this is the worst pain a human can experience. There's probably like this level would be if you would have to imagine what's the worst pain a human could experience. And then your spouse dies and it's like there's this upper level of pain that you would think is completely the body and mind is incapable of experiencing.
Yeah.
It's this pain that I thought was impossible, that was just not real, it doesn't go up that high.
Yeah.
And then it was like, I'm feeling it. And I'm like, how am I feeling it? How am I existing?
You felt it all at once.
It was all
which is once. Like, that was not my experience. And all at once like that, I'm just like, you're little. How does a little body like that handle that? And I don't even know.
I remember being so nauseous for so long. Just like, I felt like I couldn't keep food down.
Yeah.
And I felt so nauseous. And I remember Grant always said that the two worst feelings in the world were nausea and heartache. That's what he would always say. And I'm like, well, he really did me dirty.
Yeah,
like,
I did.
Double whammy.
Yeah.
Upon other whammies. Like,
heartache and nausea at the same time.
Yeah.
Thanks, Grant.
Both, like 10 out of 10 of both. Like, it was sweet. But like my mom just bought a ton of insurers and because I wasn't eating at all.
Yeah.
And she would just give me an insure and open it and just be like, can you just take a couple sips now, And then I would go to where I was drinking them on my own. She would just bring them to me. And then I started drinking like eating plain quesadillas. And that was like all I could tolerate. So she would give me insures and make me plain quesadillas every day. And that's what I lived off for like 3 months was all I could stomach. Yeah. But it's like parents are amazing. Like support systems are amazing. There's so many people that it was wild to see.
Yeah. And like, we know that they are in pain because of the circumstance and seeing you in so much pain.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I would be crying. I would see my parents crying because they love me, right? I'm their daughter.
Yeah.
And it would make me cry harder.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm so grateful.
And they're experiencing like their own grief of like, because my parents loved Grant so much. Yeah. Like my parents, like we joked that they loved him more than like their own kids. Like they loved him so much. So it's like they also are having their own loss and having pain seeing their daughter going through the most horrific pain of her life.
Yeah.
Hopefully that she will ever experience.
No. We have,
knock on wood.
I've already told God. I'm tapped out. Like this is it.
That how it works? All you have to do is tell him.
Yeah.
Send him a little note.
If you haven't told him already, you better tell him.
I feel like it hasn't worked for me so far.
Have you had harder things happen?
Well, harder? No.
Okay.
Harder? No.
Hard.
No.
Yeah, nothing.
But like, no, even when things happen, I do tell my mom, like I'll talk to my mom on the phone and I'm like, this really bad thing could happen. But I'm also like, what's the worst that could happen? Like, you know, I'm like,
oh my gosh.
I've had the worst happen. Like, worst thing that could happen is I fail out of my doctorate program, whatever.
Yeah.
I still have a job.
I can so relate to that. Like when hard things happen, I'm like well, and then I think, are they hard though? Because
yeah. I mean, I got thyroid cancer after Grant died.
That's a big thing.
It wasn't even nothing. I actually, when the guy, it was funny. The guy that, I don't know if I told you the story when he was doing the biopsy, because they first kept saying, oh, it's nothing. We'll just check, blah, 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 and he was doing the biopsy and he, as they're pulling it out, he was like, well, that sure looks a lot like cancer. And I was like, I don't think you're supposed to tell me that right now. And he was like, well, yeah, you're right. I shouldn't, it just really looks a lot like cancer.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. He's like, oh, I'm sorry. Did that scare you? He was like, I know on your chart it said you're a widow. Did your husband die of cancer? Are you really scared? And I was like, he did not die of cancer. And I'm not scared. But my only question is it terminal? I'm like, because I might be open to that. I'm like, what would happen if I refused treatment? And he's like, it would be really slow. He's like, it is completely unreasonable to refuse treatment at this point with thyroid cancer. I'm like, okay, fine. Take it out.
Fine. But is it terminal?
Fine, take it out. I'll keep living.
So what has moving forward looked like in the last 5.5 years and going forward? Like loving Grant, you'll always love Grant. Mm-hmm. So what does that look like for you?
I don't know that I've totally figured that out. Like I have kind of been dating on and off and stuff. And
how's that been?
It's rough out there.
Yeah.
It's rough out there. There's not, I mean, when people try to set you up, because then it's like, maybe there's a reason, like someone that I know is like, hey, I met this person. I think they might be a good fit for you. But it tends to be more like someone's like, oh, can I set you up with someone? And then I'm like, oh yeah, why? Like, tell me about them. And they're like, well, they're older and single. And I'm like, oh, that's it. So
that's why. Do most people know what's happened?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm like, older and single? That's not, I'm not desperate.
Yeah.
Like I'm definitely to a point where I'm like, I'd rather be on my own than be with someone that's like, I think sometimes, especially older generation, is just, then they do it out of the goodness of their heart.
Yeah.
But I think they're just like, oh, she probably wants to be with someone so bad. She probably needs that so bad. And I'm like, no, I would love that. But if it's not great, it's not amazing, then I'd rather just be with my cat.
Yeah. We like her. We like her.
Doja.
Mm-hmm. Doja
Keeps
Cat.
Me going.
Doja Cat.
Like
the singer?
Yeah.
I love that.
You know what?
That's amazing. Besides dating, like you're finishing your doctorate? PhD?
Finishing my doctorate. I finished December 4th. So I'm super close.
Oh my gosh. I'm so proud of you.
I'm almost going to be called
Dr. Brock.
Mm-hmm. Doc Brock.
What up? I like it. Favorite memory or memories of Grant?
Well, one thing that I found after Grant died that made me laugh, that was just so kind of him and his weirdness. I'm going to find it on my phone real quick. I found it because I had his phone after he died. So just like looking through things. And one day randomly, I looked at my contact in his phone and I pulled it up and it had like my birthday and our anniversary. And he put wife. And in the notes section, he put super hot, hates onions, neck and migraine problems, loves chocolate. That's it. I found this after he died.
Did he take these notes about you, like in the dating world? Like, I'm just guessing. It happened when we were married, and he was just like at one point randomly decided to do that, and is just like laughing to himself while he's doing it. That's how I picture him, like typing it and be like, yeah,
this is a good one. And I'm just so glad I got to find that after he died and see that. It was one of those things that like made me smile and laugh so hard and then cry a little.
Yeah.
But he's just so weird and random. Oh, and I'll share this. One of his brothers, I think, sent me this text that he had sent 2 days before he died. He texted his siblings, or like his older siblings, but he texted and said, hey guys, Tamara wants to try to get pregnant this summer. You guys should join. Cousin party.
Oh.
And then he said, I'll need some tips on how to do it right though. And then he said, seems gross.
Oh my God. That's so funny.
I'm like,
you didn't know that he'd sent that?
No. And then they said that. I'm like, oh my gosh, I love that. That is just so, and I'm so glad they said, I love when people send me little memories or things that I didn't know. That's like the best thing anyone can do, you know?
Yeah.
It's like,
there are a lot of gems in the phone, you know, that you can see after, you know, just going through Tanner's like pictures and stuff. I don't know about Grant, but Tanner had the most unappealing pictures of me.
yeah.
And he loved those pictures. They were saved in his favorites.
Yeah. Isn't it kind of sweet though?
It is sweet, but I'm like, wow, you must really love me.
No, I know, right? No, that just reminded me. It was so sweet going through his pictures. It was like he would take these pictures of me in like doing almost nothing. Like we were shopping and there's a picture of me like checking out at the store and that's it. Or they're like sitting studying. I was just sitting studying and there's a picture he took of me. Like there were all these pictures I had no idea that he took of me in just random parts of life. Like I did feel so seen with him. Mm-hmm. Like he saw me and wanted to understand me. And I don't know. It just,
he knew you didn't like onions.
He knew that. And that's all that we need to know.
Yeah. That is like you were seen.
I was seen deeply.
I love that. And I just feel like I know and love Grant so much more after hearing about him today.
I know. He's so freaking funny and also like kind and tender and sweet. And it's like this dual types of like dynamic personalities that don't usually coexist.
Yeah.
He was such a unique person.
I love that.
I know. I love
Tell us again where people can listen to his music.
I'm pretty sure. Well, I know it's on Spotify and it's probably other places, but his musician name is Kevat. And Kevat is Kevat.
Kevat.
Yeah. Kevat.
Gonna have some new listeners.
Go listen. It's so good. And listen to the Meant for Nothing one because it's really sweet. Like after knowing he died right after writing that song, it's like, holy moly, like how. And there have been, I've talked to other widows and there have been multiple things that we feel like some level of their soul had some awareness somehow that
these
they
are
were
the
gonna
sudden
die.
loss widows, I'm assuming. Sudden loss.
Yes. Had some type of awareness on some level and was like acting in a way or preparing in a way or certain things that looking back, it's like, did some level of their soul know and was preparing them in a way? Like the whole time not being linear, like I just think everything is going to be so different when we die and we realize like how everything is.
Yeah.
Because I know that's one thing I know when I question so many things, I'm like, but one thing I know, I'm like, they exist out there. They're there. Like
I feel that too.
Their souls, their spirits are not gone.
Yeah. Well, thank you for letting us witness your grief today and letting us the pleasure of getting to know Grant.
Yes. I love talking about him. That's what people I think are afraid to like ask about things and like it's a touchy subject, but like do it. Ask the people.
Good advice.
Ask the people about if they have lost a loved one, ask them about him. It's like the best gift.
That's good advice to end with.
Yeah.
I love you.
Love you so much. So much.
It's like we're not going to see each other after this, but we are. Bye,
we are.